Derek, international break this weekend, but the boys are still in training, as we can see. What's mood been like around the camp last few days?
I think it's just a frustration that we're not winning the game Saturday. I think there's an annoyance with that. Obviously, we've got grievances from the game that we'll probably go into. But for our own part, I thought the performance was strong. I think the players set about the game well. We were a dominant team, and we've just took advantage of that. When we're on top, we've got to try and make sure we finish teams off. And in the Premier League, we are always going to have spells where our opposition have spells in the game. It's just got to make sure that we see that out. So I think the mood getting into the game could be helped with 3 points and a win, clearly. But we're trying to be as positive and upbeat as we can with the players, because it's the only thing that's going to, it's not the only thing, but it's going to be a major factor, us being positive with the players about the games ahead. The level of performance was good, focusing on a lot of the positives from it. Our midfield area, between Watson, Donnelly, McInnes, we covered so much ground in there, won so many tackles. We're far dominant in there, which in turn allows us to then feed Armstrong and Johns and try to get some service into our front too. Now, we don't score from all that, but we do have a dominance. And I thought our back three, with the pace that we had with Jarrell, Joe and Lewis Mayo, were very good throughout. So I think it's important as a manager and a staff, you analyse the performance, you analyse why we haven't won the game, and a lot of it is frustration and a grievance really about some of the decisions that went against us. And every team needs that in a season. Every team needs those breaks, but we're not even looking for breaks. We're just looking for fairness really and competence really in certain situations.
You mentioned frustration there. The club has obviously since been in contact with the Scottish FA about the use of VAR. What response have you had from them?
Well, I think it's incumbent on the club to do that, because we feel really hard done to, and I think we're paying a lot of money for the technology and to modernise our game. I was a big champion of VAR, and I think all the managers got behind it because we wanted to help the referees. We want the league to be as modern as possible and make those improvements. And I think other than the offside law, where you can see categorically there's an improvement on these decisions, there's still the usual debates. It's people's perception of instance that need to improve. But I also feel my conversation with the refereeing department on Monday, I don't want apologies. I'm fed up getting apologies. I want fairness. I want competence. I want people making the right decisions, and not just for my team but for everybody, and I do feel that we were so harshly treated at the weekend, and it's not the first time, but for me we are in danger. I think a lot of the referees, the younger group of referees coming through, who are getting so used to refereeing a game with VAR there now, that they need to get back to being a good referee and making the decisions there. And then the referee should have spotted. I didn't know at the time post-match about his view, but having seen it back time and time again, he should see that's a handball. We also feel it was a handball from Liam Gordon in the first half in the 6-yard box, but the one that everybody's talking about, the Constantine one, that should be seen by all the officials there, and not a referee maybe thinking, well, it looks like a penalty, but VAR will soon tell me if it is or not, because then you're relying on the capabilities of the guy in the VAR room. And for me, we have been so badly let down on that instance, and it's so important. I'm so angry about it, and it's time that the refereeing department, I think, really upped their game and start justifying why there was this demand and need to have VAR in.
On a more positive note, the supporters have also been lifted by David Watson's full debut at the weekend. Does that kind of performance give the whole place a boost?
Yeah, I think everybody likes to see a young one coming through. David's one that when we came in last January, we got him training with the first team every day. We feel as though he's one of those ones where we feel he needs to be exposed and stretched, and his improvement from that is clear. He's playing against good players every day in training, and that in turn brings his game on. Now, what he has got to go along with that is good natural ability, a brilliant attitude, second to none attitude. He's so hard working. He's got a lot of good attributes to be a proper midfield player. He had a wee dip around about the turn of the year, but it was always my intention to try and get him in. We didn't want to put him out on loan. There was a couple of clubs that asked about him in League 2. One in League 1 had inquired about him, but we felt that he would have a role to play, and I think he's seen Saturday's performance what a bigger role it was. So really pleased. I thought he was part of a midfield three that did really well at the weekend. I think he's got he covers the ground well, he's got a goal in him, he competes well, he leaves his foot in, he lets people know he's there, so he's got so many good attributes to be a modern day midfielder. And he captains 18s, he captains the reserves, and I'm sure if he keeps doing what he's doing and keeps working hard, then he'll eventually captain Kilmarnock's first team. So he should be really pleased with his performance. He's got more to come from him, but like I say, it was a good team performance, but David had a big part in that.
Just finally, the break this weekend, does that give everyone a chance to reset ahead of the runner?
I'd rather have a game, to be honest. I think you know, you always know going into that last fixture, going into international break, you're left kicking your heels, and it's important to be as positive as you can, go into it with a win if you can. So we've been in working, we're doing keeping top of things. We're with the reserve game yesterday, we took the liberty to play a lot of the senior players in, which to get 90 minutes into the majority of them, the ones that have not been playing so much, and that's an opportunity for them to put showcase themselves. We'll get a couple of days off, then we'll be back in Sunday, and we've got the Kilmarnock Golf Day on Monday with the supporters, which everybody always looks forward to. But the most thing is, I've already got a team in mind for the game against Hearts. We're working towards that game even now, but I think for now it's important that players have a day or two physically to switch off, but ready to come back for the demands that's there for us. So, you know, I'm even more encouraged by the approach from the players day in, day out, more encouraged by the performance at the weekend. We're in a fight, there's no doubt about it. We're in a situation where we're going to need everybody pulling together. But the way the players have been, you know, I feel overconfident enough that we can get out of this.